Hello, everyone. So, everyone who knows me or follows me knows that my big thing, my obsession is with AI. So, AI, artificial intelligence, more AGI, artificial general intelligence, but AI. And I'm just fascinated with this stuff. Like, where are we going with technology? Are we going to someday have cyborgs? I'm obsessed with the idea of simulation. Are we in some sort of simulation? No, I've done video recordings in the past, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But anyway, as I said in my last video recording, I was listening to Rhonda Patrick, an older Tim Ferriss podcast, and she's just this fascinating woman, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. I love her passion. But she said to Tim, she goes, and I think Tim Ferriss knows, but the complexity of biology, like AI, she doesn't see it, not even in 1,000 years. Like, no fucking way. Now, try to imagine this. How many body systems we have, right? Well, let me break it down this way. And no one really knows for sure the number of cells in a body, but some I've seen, I just kind of Googled this. There are different numbers here. But let's just say, I think the last thing I looked at, 37 trillion cells in the human body. Okay? Now, let's try to wrap your brain around that. Like that number. In some earlier video recording podcasts, whatever, I talked about those numbers. People throw out numbers. Like when you talk about, oh, he's a millionaire or he's a billionaire and the national debt is trillion. I'm like, do you know what those numbers are? Do you know what they mean? So I actually wanted to I was not exactly correct. In one of my last recordings, I said that if you had $1 million, let's just say million, if you wanted to count to 1 million, let's say you had $1 million and you wanted to count your money one second at a time, how long would it take you? And I said 13 days. It's actually almost 12 days. It's 11 days and like 250, whatever. So I'm just going to round this off. So if you were to count, let's say 1 million, like I'm going back to the cells in the body. So let's say if you're going to count 1 million cells, that would take you almost 12 days, 24/7, no sleep. 1, 2, 12 days you could count to 1 million. If you wanted to count 1 billion cells, or let's say $1 billion, let's use the money analogy, which is fun, right? Let's say I have $1 billion on a stack, all singles, $1 billion, all right? Let's imagine this. And I want to count that money. $1 billion. It'd probably fill up more than a stack. 1 billion singles? Way more. It would take you 32 years. Almost 32 years to count your $1 billion. No sleep. So let's say I'm 56 years old now. Let's just say someone gave me $1 billion in singles. And I want to count it. So I'm 56, 32, so 56, 86. I'd be 88 years old when I finish counting it. No sleep. No sleep. Okay? So I'd like to use the money analogy. I'm going to go back to what I was originally talking about, the number of cells in the body, but yeah, like billion, crazy shit. By the way, and I'm really digressing here, Jeff Bezos has 162 billion. So 162 times 32, that's how many years it would take to count Jeff Bezos' money. Thousands of years without sleep. All right, crazy. So, all right, so 1 million, it would take 12 days. 1 billion, 32 years. 1 trillion, 32,000 years. See that? That's 1,000 billion. 1 trillion is 1,000 billion. So it would take you to count, going back to the number of cells. If you had $1 trillion, no one does, it would take you 32,000 years to count without sleep. Now, 32,000, there are an estimated 37 trillion cells in the human body. You multiply 32,000 times 37, and you end up with over 1 million. To count the number of cells in the human body. So you're talking about complexity, right? So the cells in the body, and then so 37 trillion cells in the body, and just alone the most complex, obviously, in the body is the brain, right? So there are an estimated 89 billion cells, neurons, and they're all different types. It's so fucking complicated, and these cells with synapses connection, you have the axons, dendrites, and then synapses, and up to 1,000, 2,000 connections each. You understand why we'll never figure out how this fucking thing works? Super fucking complicated, beyond words complicated. So going right back to what I was talking about in the beginning, AI, AGI, you look at even my cell phone and the technology and all this little phone, it's like really all world's information, this little thing, and cars and sending rockets to the moon. Even that, the technology's super fucking crude compared to the complexity of the human body. It really is. So, I don't know, it's real fun and exciting. Okay, have a great day, everyone.